Over was he going to be a pretty big positive for them here in the early stages if they can kick it off with this pistol round, start chaining things together, then perhaps they can take early control. And let's say pretty standard here for that A spawn to take the peek in towards middle. Not as standard for him to then follow up with a bit further aggression, but he's not going to keep on going forward. So importantly enough for now, he is just staying alive. He is keeping this side of the map cut off. Unfortunately though, they actually lose that short aggression, and Sun Pius, as he decides to fall back, just about catches Entropiq themselves moving back towards that ramp. He gets his head taken off, and now it's a 5-on-3 with everyone on Entropiq looking healthy still. So they just want to group up. They just want to make sure they move together as a unit and trade this one out.
Should be relatively easy to do. And Mir, well, he's already opened up one more. Going to make it even easier to execute. Utility comes over the top. Mopos deep in towards spawn. There are two of them on the minimap, but we'll get that correctly shortly as he's joined by Alex in towards CT. And the problem at this point is you're 2-on-5. You're being gunned down man by man. Crad swings wide for a big double. I was going to start asking the question, do you look to save? Do you look to get a hold of something? But it's not going to be the case. They opt to drop back. We're back on the camera, so you get to deal with our ugly mugs for a little while longer. And Entropiq, well, they take a very clean pistol, Dean.
Indeed, yeah. It didn't really look like much of a challenge. I mean, what was it? The B Water player, I think, tried to push up a little bit late into the round, a few seconds in, gets taken out, didn't have any support on that. Then they have the player who was peeking mid. He decides to try and fall back because at that point they'd already lost the player, needed to maybe take a gamble. He goes down. Then they just start feeling really desperate. Another player peeks Monster on his own as well. It was all single plays. Everyone made those peaks individually, is basically my point. As Nickelback does a pretty good job. They're getting 3, I believe it was, on the Mac 10. A little bit of help from Forrester, and with that, it is only, I believe, the one left standing for Movistar. We've got no HUD, unfortunately. Is it H? I think we need press. Hey. There we go. Now we're doing good. A lot of damage done. Damn, okay. If Sun Pius could finish off even 1 or 2 of these, he can make it very, very costly, especially if it's the rifles.
If he could potentially, that's the problem though, if is the big word, right? You've got Mir still full HP, actually flanking a site with an AK. And he's going to clear long as well. The timing on this is going to be everything, and there's absolutely nothing Sun Pius can do. Cleaned up house by Mir. And again, yes, the damage is there. Yes, it's solid tags across the board. But if you're not converting 2 to 3 kills, the T-side economy is just going to keep building on you. And that was the full force buy from Movistar as well. They sent in with the Deagles, with the Scout, tried to get that extra bit of damage, couldn't quite convert. And into this one, it starts to look very ugly indeed as the HUD disappears once more. Makes it look pretty at the very least, but largely the default pistols for Movi as they want to try and take a little bit of control in towards short. See if maybe they can get something going. Forrester fancies a lurk here, and that shadow angle's not the nicest in the world. We'll get at least the kill before he falls back, and then Mopos actually able to respond. P250 finds the head of Crad and at least starts to chip away at these Entropiq players.
Yeah, landing shots as it seems they did in the last round as well. The question is this time, can they get a couple more finishes off the back of them? They haven't really got the same pistols in order to back it up, sadly. Mir's got onto the A-bomb site already. That should be easy to hold down considering what he's up against, so that'll be called over to his teammates. They're on the way already. The bomb will be planted here on A, and maybe an extra or 2. It's just got to be the goal at this point for Movistar. They'll be fully focused, of course, on this upcoming round, trying to get things as strong as they can right out of the gate. Oh, right through the door, it's Sun Pius, and well, he's gone. There we go. Nice round. Crad, I think, is the one who died both times, unfortunately, so he's not building up any money, but everyone else looking pretty good.
Everyone else is looking pretty flush. There's always got to be someone who loses at the table. It just brings the luck to your teammates. So Crad takes the bullets for them. Still happily chugging away on 97 ADR, pushing through, able to get an AK and good utility behind him as well as he's dropped across. And this is where it starts to get interesting. For the first time, we're going to see the buyout, and for the first time, we're going to see the quad boost. Elian misses the shot. Huge opportunity there. A player just dropping out of nowhere. Not quite able to connect, though. And Mir takes a leg in response, trying to take some control in towards Party. Aware that as soon as that quad boost is seen, you know exactly what's going on. They're going to try and isolate Alex. Pushed up very aggressively on this fountain. Nickelback caught half aware, but not able to adjust that crosshair in time. And Alex is going to go for more. Elian able to trade it 2 for 1. But that's a man advantage and huge damage for the Movistar Riders.
Look at Detz's position. Still aggressive in the bathrooms. Low health on Mir. Pushing up long. Not really with any assistance as of yet. They were all too far behind. If they had one of these players ready, maybe the trade comes in, they at least get back rooms and they can start opening up options again. But Detz decides to go back in for more. Okay, Aline was patient. Waited it out. Another push towards the bathrooms, maybe to be punished by Forrester. Indeed, catches Mopos just before he gets into position. Another second, he waits to peek that angle. Suddenly Mopos is tucked in, and maybe that angle works out for at least the one and done. Instead now it's this flank that might be the pivotal play, and indeed Forrester goes down. The push hadn't even begun through long yet, so Elian's not quite ready. He's got 35 seconds, he's got players coming in from both sides now. One of them waiting on the bomb site of course, and he's not going to make it around the corner in time. AVG is the one to put the nails in the coffin right there, taking both final kills. They didn't get the up that they... Oh, Sunbias has one anyway. Not sure if he picked that up or if that was his own. Either way.
He had one.
Yeah, so they did have one to work with, and as you can see, a repurchase of nades, of guns, of everything they need leaves them with basically zero. So the pressure is still on. We had seen a Nickelback keep a Mac 10 in that previous round. We saw Crad with the lowest money on like 3,000. So they did not have an issue rebuying here. They have everything they could ask for. As the Movistar, but they're both on the brink of having their economy destroyed, and it's Movistar who would be left in a much weaker position if that were to happen. So they desperately need the round win, and that flash was perfect from Nickelback.
Mopos is going to look for the response, though, through the monster smoke, trying to be cheeky with it. Forrester's timing will be everything, and knife out, the response is there. CT side getting aggressive outside of B, should have given them a lot of info as well. Saw basically nothing, just Forrester looking to retrieve knife out. Should at least give them the idea that it is going to be this A play, and for now, deathballing up long, Crad leading the way. Elian's going to swing into this angle and attack, but nothing more. Alex down on 25 HP. It's a clean trade to keep it competitive. But again, this T side is slowly being stripped of numbers. As in the 3-on-3, more aggression coming through. Mopos has fully taken control of B, and he might even get the backstab onto Crad if he can catch this timing right.
Doesn't look like he's going to make it in time this time. They might be cautious of it considering what happened in that previous round, so we'll have to see about a bit later on. But for now, it's like a bit of pressure being put on that A bomb site. The bomb might still move back around considering Crad's in connector indeed, so a little bit of a fake. Two smokes being thrown in from long.
Timing.
Bring the bomb back down, but as you said, this is when the flank works out. Now he's seen the back. I think he's seen the bomb as well. Unfortunately, he has to pounce on the kill towards Mirror, but he got that info a few seconds earlier than they would have otherwise. So the rotation's at least ready to come in. They have a 3-on-2 for the retake, and see what Nickelback and Crad can do, because they have no more utility after what they've already put down to hold off this afterplant. They just need to land shots, and they're not really in positions to play off of each other either, unfortunately.
Horrible, horrible afterplants. Nickelback has to win this fight straight up. It's as simple as that, and he's been picked by the AWP of Sunpires. Crad left in the 1v3. Bomb on an awkward plant. Should just about have vision of any kind of a diffuser. Already halfway ticked. Spotted out, though, and he can't rain that spray in. Mopos deals with him. It's a second round on the board for the Movistar Riders, and it's a breaking round for Entropiq's economy as well. Down onto the half buy in the next. As the CT side starting to find its voice here. A couple of opportune picks on the extremities of the map. And again, that flank. I think that's the second time already we've seen the flank on the rifle buys working out for the CT side.
Yeah, this time it was the much slower one even. It just worked out perfectly for info. Obviously the one kill helped, but it was more so being able to get all of that info that they were going down to B that gave them such a preemptive rotate, I suppose. Steam started updating things randomly there, so hopefully that didn't mess up with my connection. Tech 9, okay, Crad actually wins that out. Bit of a wild spam from Alex. That's not the performance he was putting in the last day. He's still up there towards the top of the scoreboard right now, so I'm not going to be too hard on him, but he was, I don't know what he ate the other day. He was just inhuman.
I think if he had the extra 5 bullets there, he quite possibly finds himself that kill. Not to be.
True, probably. That's why I've swapped to the A4 again. Oh, okay, I saw the head. I was about to say, did you not see that player down that monster? It just about in the end. I was going to say, I've swapped to the A4 myself. The 5 bullets, maybe slightly less important for the pros as themselves who have slightly more precise aim.
2-on-4 though. Man advantage converted on by the T side, and now they've got isolated fights as well. Trying to transfer that bomb to the site will open up opportunities though. Sunpius in with the early kill. Afterplants are decent for Forrester, but he's only got the Tech 9. The rifles are stuck. Not that it matters. Crad, a caged animal, able to find the head of Sunpius, and Alien is there to trade out his death as Deaths goes down deep into CT. And Entropiq, well, they get their miracle round. A couple of cheeky plays. This one in towards Con from Krad. The boost up from Mir, and suddenly it's a 5-on-3 conversion with limited firepower coming out by the T side. And Entropiq, well, they put Movi right back onto that half buy. CT economy is a cruel beast.
It's never fun to play with. Thankfully, they're not on the double eco. It could have been a bit worse, so it's just pistols for now. But yeah, this one shouldn't really be much of a challenge. Then they'll have their guns here in this next, and if the next gun round doesn't work, that's when they're in a lot of trouble. So they'll need to just get back to their winning ways once again. See whether they can keep on getting those dodgy flanks. For now, though, we'll look towards Mopaz, because he's been having an okay performance so far. His aims looked fairly crispy, and he's got the biggest of the deagles, of the pistols right now, rather. So he's the one his teammates are going to be looking towards to try and actually do some considerable damage. As Forrester, oh, he took the dink. Gets away with the kill and gets away with his life as he just backs off. Not really needing to take any more risks. Definitely doesn't want to be giving a rifle to those pistol players.
Draws out a bit of presence as well. Starts to force the rotations down. Cheeky angle for Davaji here, but it's checked well by Nickelback. And now that big D not going to get anything done either. It was a nice enough idea from the Movistar Riders, the bait and switch setup, but Nickelback with the perfect weapon really to deal with it, just hopping around, making himself as difficult a target as possible. Even had the rifle there to back him up, just in case he couldn't find the conversion, but with 35 seconds left, a 1v5 for deaths. That bomb, it's a little way away. Entropiq have been playing it very cautious with that bomb carrier, but shouldn't be too much of an issue as those last couple of players spotted out. Mir finds the headshot. And it's a 5th round on the board for Entropiq as their T side, it's spluttering a little bit. They're struggling ever so slightly with the flanks. But as Movi take the time at it, he's starting to really fire on all cylinders.
We'll have to see how it goes now coming into this actual gun round, but it definitely is getting towards dangerous territory because Entropiq already have a decent foundation, a very solid foundation that they can add on to. One more round, you've already got a pretty good T side. Anything on top of that, and you're just feeling fantastic. And considering how it's going currently, it's very likely as Movistar can really take it up a notch and just start controlling this CT side. And their buy here isn't really perfect to do it either. Nades could be better. They're lacking helmets on a few players, which when Nickelback is sticking to the Mach 10 could be a little bit of an issue. We'll have to see. Here we go, the pause is gone, we're getting back into the action, and it does look like, again, it's just going to be a default from Entropiq. No one really rushing towards anywhere early on. They know what they're up against. It's the guns again. They'll run down what might be somewhat limited utility as well from Movistar, as, well, nades go everywhere pretty much. I like that molly towards Guardian. It's just to keep them preoccupied, though, because we can see the full focus is now on B.
It does do just that. Draws the smoke, draws the utility. Nades through from Mir, find the opener. Davaji's spray is wild, but the limited bullets mean it's just a 1-for-1, and Deaths has got to hold for all he's worth. He's losing support. The rotation has been cut by Forrester, and it's all Deaths now. Flanking in, it's a lovely angle, but Mir is just a little quicker on the draw, and it leaves Sunpius. Solo V3, the B-Poppers landed them the sight, but Sunpius isn't going to let it go. Quick early pick onto Mir. Now he relocates into heaven, but that's right into the crosshair of Elian. Another quick pop play in towards that B site. The A utility just drawing Movistar into holding that a little longer than they perhaps should have done. And again, that spray just a little wayward. Too much going on his screen. Couldn't quite isolate the fights.
This is so rough, just being stuck in the bounce back and forth between the buys and the half buys. It can happen on the CT side, and it's exactly what Movistar are suffering from right now. And it means basically for every round they lose, a second goes the way of Entropiq as well. And considering they had already won the early pistol and such, you can see that Platinum has built up way too much of a T side. Keeping it simple, they're not even really doing anything crazy. Bit of a swap up, I suppose, actually moving through Connector and also Monster to get this control towards B short, but against the pistols it makes sense. Don't want to get caught up close if they've pushed forward. Take multiple angles, rather maximize your chances. Nice shot by Deaths, okay. I'd like to see a little bit more of this when they have the M4s and such going.
It's a nice pick. The AK is recoverable
Alex's
as well, and as
well.
Sunpius finds a second. You're right, this position starts to get very ugly. Alex picks off Crad at the extremities, and with Nickelback on 6 HP, it's really on the new boy here. Nickelback, a wayward shot. Gives Sunpius a second chance at life, and Mir has no idea what's coming for him. Goes down clean to Alex, and all of a sudden, these Deagles chiming in at the extremities of the map have bought them a 1v3. And with Nickelback already desperately low, it should just be a matter of converting, but he's not going to go down quiet. Early kill onto Alex is found, and that buys him time and control. CT side split in the defense as well. Pius on a recovered AWP up towards A has tucked himself into the long bathrooms. He's holding the connector angle, but he will hear these footsteps as with 20 seconds left, Nickelback has to up the pace, and Pius, you can see it. He knows what's coming. It's a missed shot, but the Deagle will come out to convert. A third round out of absolutely nothing is found for the Movistar Riders, and this is just the opportunity they so desperately needed to try and recover things. It gives them a little bit of a kickstart on the economy. They save across a few rifles, and if they can start to string the rounds together now, this half isn't done just yet.
No, not at all. I mean, they could still get towards 9-6, which would be pretty good. A 7 or even a 7-8 themselves would be a pretty good salvage even from this position, so really just drop as few rounds from this point forward as possible. And yeah, it was nice to see them all wake up with the Deagles. Just as I said, it'd be nice to see them do that with the rifles. They were like, okay, we'll finish it with the Deagles, and we'll do it again now with the rifles and chain some rounds together. That's the intention that they have, and see whether it can be backed up. They're actually pretty heavy on the B play right now, expecting maybe to change up in pace in the beginning of this round. It hasn't come, of course. It is a default focus mostly towards mid. I think Entropiq themselves expecting the peak in towards party. Happy enough to just slowly move forward, inch towards the map control, and considering Movistar aren't playing too aggressive, they will be able to find it, but they're using a lot of nades in the process without Movistar really having to force them to do so. They're playing pretty passive.
Being very meticulous with their clears, knowing that with that early quad boost they have pretty much given up all map control and have to retake it. But as you said, Movi, a little bit of a read on an early play. They wanted to get the pressure down towards that B site, still maintaining a 3 out of 4 over there. Just allowing for these A site players to slowly start creeping back into the map control, knowing the utility is gone, knowing as you look across that Entropiq belt, there's very little in terms of utility left. It's just the rifles, realistically. The rifles are going to have to make it work. A pop in. It's an early leg from Pius, but Forrester able to punish with the headshot, and now it's Davigi and Mopos. A lot of damage done by the M4. Support from Deaths from on high now, and they're cutting them down as they enter the site. Crad manages to wrestle one back, but Mopos, they know he's still here with 8 seconds left. Elian able to take his man down, and that allows for the plant to come through. Elian backs his planter up, and as the bomb goes down, it's all on Alex. But he finds the double spray down. Both players tucked in sight. It's a 4th round rescued by the Movistar Riders, and it's a huge one financially as well. As you peer over at that economy on Entropiq, you'll start to realise that they are hitting breaking point once again.
Yeah, they got the bomb down at least, so that gives them that little bit extra to work with. But considering how that started off, they got obliterated, losing 3 players straight up. The fact that they can even somewhat pull it back well up against what was a stack B, basically, it is scary. It shows you what a couple of these players can do when they start to find that form. We know pretty much anyone is capable of stepping up on Entropiq, as Movistar are showing they're capable of doing as well. They've got a nice team effort going so far. Aggression from Alex is a bit wild. Player he may have overlooked slightly. Hasn't made himself known anyway, so he should be able to catch a player from here. But escaping is a whole different story, and well, let's see, he's getting away with the 1 kill, but that is going to be all a 1-for-1 trade. It is not all that worthwhile from that position. I think Entropiq will be happy enough with the 4-on-4 that they have, especially if they can actually take the map control without too much trouble. Pius is going to be the one who maybe could be an issue, but if they use their flash as well, he shouldn't be, but no.
Ooh.
Brad peeked up connector, didn't have a flash over the short, I don't think.
Has actually drawn the rotation, though. Davagi's going to work his way back up onto that A site, and for now, it leaves a timing, a window of opportunity with Mopos solo in towards this B site. Timing's going to be everything. Blinded up, he drops water, knows he has to buy time here. Nickelback on the reaction shot, will buy the site. And that's an even 3-on-3 now. If they can get that bomb up swiftly, Elian should be able to get the plant down without an issue. Plenty of utility available for this CT retake. Handful of flashes, smokes, mollies to flush the site, and the afterplants again are ugly for Entropiq. They haven't really got the control they want, so they're going to push heavy presence into water, trying to boost Heaven, and that actually puts Forest in a very fortuitous position, able to find a kill before Deaths will trade. And the crossfire now established. Some Pious really with it all to do. Deaths is stuck in Heaven. The flash, however, is fantastic. And Forrester can't do a damn thing. Cleaned up as Movistar land the 3-on-3 retake. And that is smooth sailing from the CT side.
If even a trade comes in, if they can manage to go 1-for-1 as he comes out of Heaven, they've basically won it already at that point. Wow, the bomb was sticking away there. So, unfortunate. Fantastic flashes from Movistar on that retake. And a good recovery from what was somewhat shaky beginning. Good job, obviously, from Alex to get that initial kill, but it was just a pretty tough spot to get away with an advantage from, considering he was so heavily committed, didn't have any backup, didn't have someone ready to throw a flash or anything. We'll have to see if some of those plays maybe can be punished and abused by Entropiq here in the future, but for now, they haven't got a great buy, so I'm not loving what they've got to work with. The molly there almost burned Sun Pious despite taking the kill, and considering Forrester has gotten the frag on Dabby G, health-wise, they're looking pretty damn similar here as well, so this is not the worst of starts for Entropiq, to be honest. Gone a little bit better than I expected it to.
I have to wonder, you would have expected that Mac 10 to be able to hear the ticking of the Molotov, know that somebody was there, maybe you wanted to gun him down, but caught on an awkward timing. Does leave, as you said, a fairly even kill across the board. Some Pious, you have to say the AWP having low HP feels a little more viable, knowing they've only got to land that one shot. As Entropiq once again queuing up outside of B, and at this point, this is where that T side starts risking becoming a little mediocre. It looks so dominant initially, but Movistar really have worked their way back into the arm wrestle. And this could be a big round as it's the sneak out monster that's called. The pop flash does blind Mopos up. He's going to try and tuck tail in towards the barrels by time. And that's exactly what he does. Deaths spraying down finds one. The response is just about there, but they haven't actually taken the site. That's a flank kill. And both of these site players remain up, just playing in and around of these smokes. Mopos grabs another. Mir goes down and is falling apart. Elian on the AK trying to do what he can, but it's the backstab from Alex that will finish the job with another big double kill to keep things level at 6 apiece. And for the first time in a long time, it'll start to really break that Entropiq economy.
It was taking them long enough, hasn't it? What, like 4 rounds in a row in order to actually crack it down before they were truly taken onto one of these ecos? I think they'll be feeling a bit relieved maybe at this point. As soon as they find out it is only pistols that they're against. Right now they're probably thinking, yeah, they're probably buying again. They manage it somehow anyway every round. We'll see this time not getting that extra cash. There's still Tech 9s, Deagles, Kevlar, a few nades, the basics as well that they need to worry about. So I wouldn't say it's a round here that's going to be easy for Movistar. And considering they've been losing players in every one of these rounds, you can see their economy itself is still near breaking point. If they were to lose one, after having won this many rounds in a row as well, then they'd be left maybe even on the double eco, which would be detrimental with only a couple of rounds left in the half, of course. It'd let Entropiq maybe still run up towards 9, so depending on what damage these pistols can do, we'll have to see. Sun Pious is back up. They do have a third player already on the way up. They have a fourth over on long. It's not going to be easy for Entropiq to crack through, and that was a ridiculous shot. I don't even think he killed the player he intended to kill. Took the head of the man on the headshot angle, and Forrester's lurk out B. It's just a little bit too late, unfortunately.
Yeah, rough old timing. Tech 9 just to see if he can maybe find a consolation kill now. But Deaths is ready. Deaths is waiting, and Deaths will be the one to dish out the death. The 7th round on the board for Movistar, and you have to say, this CT side recovery has been really solid. Yeah, there's no way he was aiming for that. He's just fired it and ran away, but
he went on for the guy that jumped up, I think, and just took someone in the background and was like, all right.
Sometimes you get those. Sometimes you just firing off shots, that kind of a pop into the sight. It's a cluster of bodies. You're going to hit something. Little fortunate he finds the head, but I'm sure he'll take those along with all the others. And like I was saying, you know, this is starting to feel very solid for Movistar. Both teams a little CT leaning, Movi perhaps more so. But they're doing a solid job of re-establishing themselves now as the boost up on short nets Deaths the early kill. And you can see exactly how Movi want to play this. They get their opening pick and that's it. Turtling back into the site, Alex and some Pious already falling back onto the deeper angles. The B-side players just giving up the short control, not bothering to stay on that boost any longer than absolutely necessary. And you can see the response from Entropiq is they're burning utility. having to use the extra smokes, the extra flashes to clear their way up into these bathrooms, buying more time for Movistar, and just allowing that CT side to settle itself even further into a solid first half.
Yeah, they actually decided to be really aggressive here with Alex. He's just playing up close to the smoke. They have a fresh smoke for it as well, so basically an early warning system. As long as you can come away with a kill and keep their advantage, and then it should be worth it. Thought the AK was clipping through the wall there for a second. It would have been scary. It does happen sometimes. I've seen AKs clip through the stairs part, part there towards the stairs. You need to be somewhat careful, even though they patched that years ago for the cash door. As Mir finds Alex just stepping around the corner, gets a little bit adventurous, wasn't sure what was going on, thought it might have been moving back towards B maybe. Instead, they've got 20 seconds to hold off this bomb site. Yeah, Entropiq need to be quick. It's going to be tough to actually get this bomb down. So many players waiting for them. The Op is the first of them, gets dinked up. Fires off a shot, and well, the best he can do there is maybe waste a few seconds. But getting the bomb down, it's going to be tough still. They have to just try and stop it. They're not able to do so, but they do get the kills. And it's going to be an 8th round for Movistar Riders. It's a little bit closer maybe than we expected. But it doesn't really matter considering we're going into the final round of the half.
They're not fast. They're not fast. They get it over the line. 20 seconds left. And Entropiq, again, just don't leave themselves enough breathing room with that little time. If you're seeing that kind of presence coming in, you can full rotate of your CT. And that's exactly what Movistar Riders did. Sent the kitchen sink at this A-site hold. And as you said, just having to get that bomb down, having to make sure you punch those numbers in, makes the fights a little more isolated. And just makes it that little bit easier for Movistar Riders to get that 8th round on the board. And again, what was such a dominant T side, well, the wheels are starting to come off of it a little bit here. Last round of the half, aggression into short from Mopos this time is punished. And for the first time in recent memory, it's an early 5-on-4 for Entropiq. But they're going to already start to be pushed out. Alex has taken fountain control, and that's allowing for that 3rd man to rotate down to B.
Apologies. Prepping myself for when we're on camp. Could look beautiful, you know. Decent molly. That angle's been played pretty commonly there because they've been ready to swing monster as well as fighting short, so does make sense. But right now it's obviously Movistar who are feeling the pressure for the first time in about 6 or 7 rounds, it seems. So we have to see what their response is. They seem to have pushed Alex forward on mid, which will obtain a good bit of info, but the problem is obviously there's still multiple players towards connector who are going to start moving forward, and they might expect this. It looks like one, at least for now, is watching it, being cautious. The problem is, I was gonna say he should still get the vision on Crad, but no. Crad turned around, he gave it a check. Forrester with a kill in the meantime as well before getting traded. Keeps them in a good position, at least with the advantage now in a 4-2. As they make their way onto that open A bomb site. The rotations are faster, but with smokes going down, I don't think there's a lot that they can do before the bomb is planted.
Pius wants a gap, wants a denial, it's not going to happen. Tries for the wall bang, but it's in vain. Bomb will be planted. Entropiq looking to end the half on a positive note. 4-on-2, good after plant positions this time as well. Pius, they know he's stuck in and around this angle. Mir will push in and go down though. The early pick is found, but still those afterplant positions start to feel really ugly. You can see Nickelback in and around that truck just waiting. Crad, in fact, finds the head, but it's the double peek that gets it all done. And Pius now 1v3 comes 1v2. Switches it out to the AK. Time, though, already against him as he's trying to get into this site, but he's being given nothing. Entropiq, no, they don't have to peek. And at 8-7, it will be a recovery right at the death of that T half for Entropiq. And I'm going to say it, Dean, they should have had a lot more. You know, this is their map pick. It's their map. They're feeling confident. Admittedly starting T side, but they were 6-2 up at one point. They had Movistar on a half buy, and we said that was a big swing round. They had the Deagles. They had the techs. They got it done. They got the damage. And from there, they just managed to really build on that early foundation.
Yeah, I mean, they hit probably the biggest milestone in the early stages, getting to that 6 rounds. 1 or 2 more on top of it, and they would have been looking absolutely fantastic right now. Instead, they're going to need to take it up a little bit of a notch moving forward, of course, in this next half. The pistol round, pretty important. Obviously, salvaged 1 more, at least at the end, but momentum-wise, I think Movistar have still slightly got it in their pocket, of course. But I do believe we're just going to have a break for a moment or two here, guys, before we actually get going back into the map, so make sure you stay with us. We will be back ASAP.
An intriguing first half sees Movistar with the slenderest of leads as they head onto their T side. 8-7 the scoreline reads, and well, an accurate reflection of the back and forth start we've had to this series, but there's no time for that now as we are charging into the B-bomb site with the Movistar Riders. It's an early 1-for-1. Nickelback actually able to double his account, but it's an awkward fight from Crad, and as he goes down, it gives the man advantage only momentarily back the way of Entropiq. Alex is still deep in towards spawn at the moment, picking up the utility, but Mopos is doing it all by himself. 2v1 for Mir to contend with the new boy with a lot of work to be done, and having only seen one for now, he looks back, and in that timing alone, Mopos will swing in a triple kill in the pistol, and the start exactly what Movistar Riders needed, Dean.
Yeah, that was crazy. I said the momentum was still sitting with them from that previous half, despite losing the final round, and it definitely was. Even with Nickelback finding that pretty fantastic start, taking 2 of them from the barrels, unfortunately just didn't get a chance to tuck his head down. If he could have wasted a few more seconds, his teammate behind the pillar then suddenly would have been a lot more effective as well. They could have tried to work off each other. Unfortunately, that's not how it played out, and instead now, up against a relatively secure buy of 3 Galils and a couple of Mac 10s. They're feeling confident in their individual skill, considering how the game's been going for them so far, so didn't want to focus too heavily on the AKs. A good mix of nades in there as well.
Alien going to be put under pressure out towards long, but he's more than up for the challenge.
Was there early damage done on DVG? Did he catch a nade or something?
I'm not quite sure. You would think he caught something, because you wouldn't think he'd be going armorless, but we'll have to wait and see. That's a man advantage that isn't the end of the world for the T side, but it is one to make you feel a little fidgety, and you can see it here grouping up a little bit more on the Movistar Riders side of things. 3 players to work their way into that bathroom's control. An MP9 and a 5-7, all that really lies in wait for them. It's an awkward fight for Mir, and he gets his head caved in nice and cleanly. Nickelback now tagged up, as you said in that early engagement. The sole defender of this A site, and with just 42 HP and a deagle, he really is praying for a miracle, tucking himself aggressively on Divider. It's going to be the utility into A with 35 seconds left. The rotations will be here in time, but with limited firepower, what can they find? It's Elian and Nickelback. 2 quick kills, another tag off the back of that scout for Elian has bought them the man advantage, bought them the health advantage, and he spots some Pius too. A cheeky no-scope won't quite connect, but the 5-7 sure will. Forrester finds one more, and with Alex on 1 HP, it's a backstab in CZ to keep him off the plant with 10 seconds left on the clock. They know they've just got to play this one smart. 1 HP. Alex desperate to get that bomb down, but it's not going to happen. Elian with the scout, Nickelback with the deagle, Entropiq with the heroics. And what a response to losing the pistol.
It is chaos throughout as well, but this position from Nickelback, getting 2 out of this, that's the big thing. Sorry, no, it was Elian who got the other one, but obviously landing the shots is what made the scout take that kill as easily as it did. Obviously, Elian's entry in the initial moments helped massively on DVG as well. I'm still not sure whether he took some nade damage maybe before on mid. Probably did as he was coming up the ramp. Either way, this leaves Movistar in a rough spot because their economy obviously only funded with 1,400 loss bonus in this round. They pull out 1 rifle and some pistols, but it's everything in right now. They have no nades basically behind it. They lose this one, Entropiq are going to take a lead. They'll get into double digits first as well, and considering the level of comeback that Movistar had started to put in back on that CT side in order to avoid Entropiq just running away with a lead, it won't be feeling too good for them. Good timing there on the fallback for Elian, I've got to say. Not quick enough though.
Good, not great, and it gets him taken down for free, and that starts to open up some holes in this defense as well. The con player isolated, the A site under siege, and rapid rotations leaving MP9s in very awkward spots now. Nickelback low on HP will be the next victim, and suddenly we're looking at a little more chaos. It's up to Krads and Forrester to get it done, and well, they're trying to do just that. The kills continuing to go their way as they charge on through, and somehow find themselves in a 1v2. Absolute chaos on the A site, but Entropiq seem to be able to thrive in it as Alex is left. We've seen the Tech 9 spam do some surely crazy things, but this, well, this is asking a lot. Forrester has tucked himself in close. Alex, at least able to recover that Galil as Crad jump spotting for him. Trying to get that info across. They know they've got bomb at their feet. They know Alex's likely location, but it's an over-aggression from Crad. He swings too wide, and he leaves Forrester. 1v1, dodges the flash. 15 seconds left. Alex, he knows the possibility is there, but it's an awkward old fight for him, and Forrester will get the better of it. It goes down to the last man. It goes down to the wire. But Entropiq level the scores, and that is the economic reset for Movistar.
Fortunately so, it looked like they were going to get it done as well. 5-on-3 at one point. The perfect flash, I think, is what came over then and allowed Crad and Forrester to get 3 of them between them in seconds and suddenly put the pressure back on, of course. Only Glocks, 1 Tech 9 being upgraded, a flash for Alex. They'll hope to maybe catch someone aggressive and overwhelm him, and they might just do it Nickelback. Never mind, the MP9 just a bit too much for them to handle. So, yeah, maybe a relatively easy cleanup here, as you would expect. The 2 MP9s will hope to get as many of the kills as possible, because they obviously haven't stabilized their economy very much, that previous round being as close as it was. And so far, that's going pretty well. Crad has gotten himself a 2nd kill as well, and Nickelback taking 3 of them in total. That's exactly what they needed. They'll probably keep the 2 MP9s, maybe try something a bit more aggressive in this round, because they didn't even use any of the nades on those rifle players, so they have a need to invest absolutely 0 in this round. So it is 100% the bonus round, meaning pressure is on. Movistar are going to need to come out right off of the bat on this T side with a couple of gun round wins in a row.
You couldn't have written a better anti-eco for Entropiq. Nickelback and Crad finding all 5 kills, no utility really expended. Lovely stuff for the CT side, and as you said, it gives them a bit of an opportunity here. Bonus round is out. Gonna try something a little cheeky, boosting the rifle to peer deep in towards T base. Not spotting anyone out though. Movistar, the Kings are playing passive, are looking to do so again, and you can see Forrester has got to flick between a couple of angles at the moment. Doesn't have the short control you'd perhaps want for this kind of a play, so they have to slow it down, and all that pop flash is nasty. Forrester spotted, tagged down low, forces out the utility, forces the retreat, and it's a nice opening set for Movistar Rider. They've got some map control to work with now, and they're working their way up Banana almost simultaneously as they continue to tag away these SMGs. Mir with the early kill, but the trade is immediate, and now that A-bomb site feels very vulnerable indeed. Elian solo behind Dice has got 3 players headed his way, or so he thought. Movi is slowing this one right down with 45 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, it's making Entropiq doubt themselves, in fairness. I think that they've actually sent a 2nd player back down. He's around heaven still, so only now beginning to actually make his way back up towards the A-bomb site, rather. But they're taking a bit too long, unfortunately. The 2nd and a 3rd player suddenly up on the bomb site now. Sunbias looks to be quite a bit ahead of the charge onto the bomb site itself as well, and none of them are ready for the commitment as it starts coming through. That is very, very strange. I will not lie. One player still back in mid, basically. The other one far back on long, and suddenly Dets has to force his way into the bomb site with the help of Alex. They just about get it, but this flank might be enough to stop the bomb plant, and there it is. Forrester also finding the kill on Alex in the meantime, so they don't even have to waste another few seconds getting that final kill. It's 11-9, Entropiq taking some control back now on the CT side, managing to effectively get some gun rounds chained together, which they didn't really manage to do back on that T side.
It's a round that was the bonus as well, so the fact they come away with 2 rifles, the fact they force out the full investment from Movi and they don't find anything from it on the T side just does so much damage. Even with the reinvestment of those 3 rifles, right, the money is still solid onto Crad and Forrester. Movistar Riders a very different picture as they're staring down the barrel of a rough half-buy, and that CT side, as you said, it's starting to stretch its legs in a way we didn't really see the T side get going. After that initial spree of rounds, Entropiq went a little bit quiet, but they're starting to find their voice once more.
Considering this is their map choice, we would say it's a bit of a necessity. Vertigo up next, the map that they are also very capable of playing, so manage to take this if they can keep it going smooth from here on out as well. They could steal that momentum and the confidence away from Movistar that they had begun to build, and who knows, maybe Vertigo could be a bit of trouble. Oh, they definitely heard Forrester up close even before he started shooting. Fortunately, he's still able to get away with a kill, and it just keeps them distracted. It slows them down for a couple of seconds, and as you can see, allows for Entropiq to be well positioned. A couple of casualties, Mir pretty low on health, but it's not a big deal, all things considered. Be able to repurchase their 12-9, and well, it was just a half-buy from Movistar, so now they get the full rifles. We'll have to see if they can actually capitalize on the damage they've done, but they're still in a position where it's going to take 2 gun rounds to actually break them down. That's the problem.
2 players up in the previous, 3 in this one. Entropiq are building bank. And on the CT side, that is a rarely afforded luxury. Entropiq doing a solid job keeping Movistar Riders just that little bit quiet. Aggression this time out long from Elian. Has spotted the feet of Davigi, but utility goes through. He doesn't want to hang around for too much longer, knowing that he's left Mir a little bit out in the lurching con, and actually Death's walking out monster. He's caught himself the timing onto Crad. The damage is good, but the kills continue to go Death's way. That's 2 out of absolutely nowhere to open up B, and again, this starts to fall apart. Mopos catches Mir on the flank, and that damage, yes, it gets them a nade kill, but it's 2 on 4. Davigi is going to get that bomb down inside of the site, and Nickelback and Elian, well, they've got a major decision to make here. Davigi's not going to expect the first, and that may well tempt this CT side in. 2v3. The retake, it feels like it's viable, but with such solid afterplants and no more utility at all, what do you do? Nickelback taps the bomb. He wants to draw something. He draws the molly. That'll go into the smoke, but again, nobody is facing. The boost up will give them a kill, but as that smoke starts to fade, it gets even more awkward. It's the full 10-second stick from Nickelback. He hasn't even got the kit. Elian gets the one. He taps the bomb. He knows he's got to bait the peak, but Sampaius, he is having none of it. He's got all that game sense bottled up, and it's a double-digit round for Movistar Riders. 10 on the board, as they manage to get that B hit cycling through fantastically through deaths.
That was a very close one there in the end, and the player without the kit, as you said, on towards the defuse here initially when Nickelback started hopping on it for a moment, so it's a little bit of a strange one. Otherwise, they might have been able to have actually had a chance there, because the other player probably could have wasted the extra second or so that was needed to stop that monster peak that came in. Either way, speculating at this point, the round does go the way of Movistar Riders. They managed to find the lifeline, and this is their pause as well, I believe.
Yeah, it is. Movi taking the time, and I think that's a smart call. It's an underused resource, the timeout, and they'll know that Entropiq did build that little bit of bank. They'll have an idea, as all pro teams do, of the economic situation of their opposition, knowing that potentially they get this one on the board. That breaks the bank. We're at 12 all on our opposition's map pick. It starts to feel like a very surmountable series, an opportunity, of course, for one of these teams to continue their charge in the lower bracket, and one to head on home empty-handed. And well, Alex, he wants to be the one advancing. An early pick onto Forrester's boost. His head ripped clean from shoulders. There's damage chipped onto a couple of players at the very least. But it's an opening control that Movi have found themselves with, an opening man advantage despite the damage, and an opportunity to plan their execute as well, as Entropiq are going very heavy on the B rotation. In fact, I think they want to boost back up here. Pop flash in to do so. The damage again is huge, but they're yet to find a kill.
And looking to try and pull this kill back if he can. Ready though for a peek here from Connector, which should at least prepare for a trade, but he gets away with that kill on Deaths, and yeah, Mopos didn't really seem too interested in trying to support and see if he could find the refrag just in case there was someone else pushed up short helping him out. So you can somewhat understand. That does now leave them in the 4-on-4 with Alex on low health as well. It's not a good position for them to be in. Elian has the crack angle onto Sampaius. Unfortunately, didn't expect that aggression already up close. Mary had been holding the angle as well, just didn't see that he had already crossed to the left side, and emerging from the smoke, AVG is an easy finish. Alex is probably just calling for the save at this point, considering he's got 20 health to work with. Although he doesn't know, probably just run onto B. No, never mind. Krad's in heaven.
Money. Yeah, the timing was never... He might have made it. Might have done. It would have been tight, but with 22 HP, as you said, a couple bullets would have done it. And the problem is, when he looks over at the money of his team, can you really afford to be throwing away an AWP in a 1v3? Probably not. Loss bonus, really not going to do you much of anything here. Some players might be able to drop across one if they want to try and get something going, but it would be very ugly. He'll at least get his big green in hand, and with that opening pick, Movistar Riders would have thought they had their golden ticket, but a couple of quick kills going against them, that damage proving to be significant. And Entropiq once again have control of map 1, an opportunity to stabilize as the half bite does come out. Not willing to throw the dice on a force just yet. And Sampaius on that solo warp looks to pull off a little bit of magic.
staying very aggressive. Nickelback's pushing up through connector as well. They don't really seem to care that they're up against the pistols here. They've been having a very good CT side so far, so they're just looking to pretty much push themselves towards Movistar and just show them what they're up against while they only have pistols as well. Keep the fear in their mind, keep the expectation of aggression fresh in the mind as well, and maybe swap it up then coming into this next one when the guns are back in play again. Oh, this is perfect. They have no idea he's in party right now. That should be 3 players he's going to have the drop on. Maybe 2 kills to come from it at least. Indeed, maybe the 3rd. No, he'll be shredded by Sun Pius, but he's done enough. Took out the 2 players who could have benefited from that weapon being recovered as well. And although it's pulled Alex back around now to get the M4, that was heard by Nickelback, who was pushed up connector. So he's going to be, as you can see, on a little flank of his own. Oh, but he doesn't get the kill.
This starts to get a little ugly. As you said, Mir takes down 2 players who can recover the rifle, but Alex will be the 3rd, and he makes good use of it. Nickelback, the flank not quite working out for him. The next problem, however, is Crad, and he's on a ratty little angle. Sunpius goes down to it for free, and they know Alex is low. Nickelback trusts that he's got the damage on the board. No need for headshots. The body will do. 14 on the board. 3-man survival for Entropiq. It's not great, but it's not awful. It will continue to build the economy over on that CT side of things. This spray, just a little awkward from Nickelback, but his teammates are there to bail him out. And at this point, we're starting to get towards last chance saloon for the Movistar Riders. They've got their buy into this one. 3,400 loss bonus will get them some half-buy forces if they want to go for it in the next round. And this one doesn't work, but realistically, this is their shot now. Making this first map viable and giving themselves something to write home about, but it's through the smoke. Death's pop flashed in by Alex, and Forrester, well, he's all too ready for that. An opening kill their way. They've traded 1 for 1 again as Crad finds his opening kill of the round. And already this is starting to look like a lost cause for the Movistar Riders. Man down, 2 picks lost over towards that B site. Utility still plentiful for Entropiq as well. What do you even look to do here if you're the T side? How do you get yourselves back into this round?
Something crazy, a bit of a miracle. You still have Alex and Sunpius standing, both of whom have been very important so far. So you need one of these players maybe to really pop off here and something to work with. Smoke on towards A. Doesn't look like they're going to commit with it yet, but it pulls out a molly. It runs down a few of the remaining nades that Entropiq actually have. They need to hurry up and make this decision about where the commitment is coming in, because they don't have time for dilly-dallying anymore. A fresh smoke on B as well might limit that option. It looks like they still want to go B.
Don't really have a choice.
They're waiting to smoke. They're going to have maybe 15 seconds left, and they're going to try and go around it, and they might have a bit of trouble as well.
Oh, Sunpius with a nice timing for 1, and he will find the response through the wall as well. Nickelback trading things evenly into the 2-on-2. That is going to be a plant. The limited time, not a problem for now. And Elian, well, speculatively spamming through as Alex and Sunpius are set. Bomb starts to tick away. Sunpius low on HP, but that AWP means it's less of an issue. And as Alex tucks himself under heaven, this could get very ugly. Mir, no flash to get himself into this angle. It's just the fight to take, and Alex is up for the task. Elian now left in the 1v2. He knows where both of them are, but if they won't give him a peek, what can he realistically do? The AWP, Sunpius has him absolutely dead to rights, and they get it done. 3-on-4. It doesn't matter how low HP Sunpius is, as he's got the big green in hand. He's going to continue to get work done, and you see it again here. Entropiq, that was their opportunity to put a stamp on this game, to finish their map picking style. Instead, it's Movistar continuing to scrap their way back in and try and keep their hopes alive in this series, as Entropiq have gone for a very ugly force buy.
I think a bit preemptive on that monster peak as well. I'm forgetting who exactly it was, but I think it might have been Nickelback. He peeked through, only got the 1 kill out of it, and was traded back on when how low the time was. If he had waited, he probably could have wasted enough time to let the extra rotation even come in and just not even let Movistar near the bomb site. Unfortunately, that's not how it played out. Now, a force buy in return from Entropiq means they're all in. If they lose this, Movistar have a real opportunity to get themselves right back into this. Obviously, no room for mistakes to be made, but so far against these pistols, they're doing a good job. Deaths already has the opening kill. No one else on the bomb site directly right now, but there is a player deep long as well as one back towards bank. There's actually 2 deep long, sorry. This might be a little bit awkward for them to contend with right now, considering the bomb's gone down, they're somewhat trapped in. At the very least, I'm expecting some damage to be done, some players to fall on the side of Movistar. But I think Entropiq, with 2 ops, just want to run away, and that might not even be allowed.
This was an awkward play. The setup was there, and Movistar, well, they really did thread the needle on it. Was sending the players up banana. There was no presence for the CT side. Nothing they could do. Will be allowed to save the double AWP setup now, however, having found that quick kill with the 5-7. And that one's one of those gotcha rounds where if you're Entropiq, you're just writing it off. You had the setup, you had the idea, you knew where you'd left your weakness on this force buy, and Movi just so happened to thread the needle on it and get themselves the freebie. You managed to save off the majority of your rifles, both the AWPs, you managed to save the Galil, and now you take that timeout at 14-12 as you look over your economy and realise there's some decisions to be made that may well impact how this entire map plays out. You've not got it to that map point just yet if you're Entropiq. This one, another awkward situation where you're going to see 5-7s dropped across to try and get the buy together. But it's going to be on to Crad and Elian to get the heavy lifting done.
Yeah, I mean, good spawn as well there for, I believe that's Crad. So if he can find an early pick, alleviate a bit of the pressure. Let them hopefully not be too outmatched considering the weaker weapons and the somewhat lack of utility. There definitely is risks that needs to be taken if they want to tip this round in favor of themselves. Not looking like anything too crazy here in the early stages. Are they going for the boost, I believe? Like they were giving it a go, so not a lot of presence being taken early on. Just one player who moved towards Connector, and he's going to find himself Brad, who had gotten incredibly aggressive. He was not expecting that. Went for the angle, peeked towards the stairs, had the right idea. Remaining aggressive, Elian actually does end up going down, costing them one of the ops and costing them the early advantage that they had taken.
That AWP battle has tended to go some Pius's way, you have to say. When he's had it in his hands, he's found a lot of work out of it. Currently joint top frag on the server alongside Alex and Nickelback. Crad tries to slow walk into the AWP, and well, that's 2 AWPs that some Pius has dealt with so far this round. Finds his team the man advantage as well, and now Nickelback the next to try his hand. Plenty of bodies on the other side of this for him with the Galil. He's in the tuck tail close to the corner. Dodges the flashbang. Spray only good for the one though. Davaji there with the response, and at this point just Forrester and Mir remaining with 2 5-7s. They found good damage out of the upgraded pistols so far this map, but this one feels like it might be a bridge too far. Limited information. You can see Mir trying to make a little bit of a play for the something at the moment, but he's got 2 bodies ready and waiting, and that step will give the game away just a little bit more. Just trying to get anything they can out of these 5-7s, but if Mopos realises the B site is open for the taking, he'll call the rotation down. There'll be nothing more those upgraded pistols can say or do about this round, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, Mir catches a nice timing. He'll spot the info. There's a missed molly to maybe tempt them a little further in, but I think realistically there's 2 AWPs on the board here. If they could save both of them, that would be great. As it stands, it might only be the one. Some Pius has managed to take out Mir, and Forrester, well, I'm not sure. Do we reckon Movistar threw the AWP out of the map, or is it still lurking? Indeed, it's still lurking, so he will be able to grab himself that AWP and hide it as deep into spawn as he can possibly manage. But it's a 13th round on the board, 3 players up for Movistar, and it's very similar to the first half team. We're seeing a late resurgence from the Spaniards.
Yeah, a little bit out of nowhere. In the end of the first half, I do need to remind that Entropiq were able to crack out 1 more round. They'll be looking to at least find that here as well, so that they can hopefully ensure an overtime for themselves. Movistar, though, on track for what could be the 16-14 comeback. The buy, of course, is going to come in now, though. Forrester can drop one over to Crad. They'll have the rifles. Nade should be okay as well, so it's not going to be a terrible buy by any means, but Entropiq, I think, will be kind of kicking themselves if they weren't able to work a little bit more off of that early advantage that they found.
Felt like, I don't want to say Elian pushed the boat out too far, but that peak felt a little too keen.
He was already out there, just didn't decide to calm it down, I suppose, once the kill came through. In theory, maybe he was expecting someone was already holding the close right angle, could have crossed in the early stages, thought he might go down if he attempts to even escape, so was hoping to at least get away with a kill, but obviously it did backfire. For now, though, we need to focus on what's coming up, because this round is just as important.
Early swing peak, utility already starting to bleed dry for the CTEs as their economy betrays them once again. Handful of nades remaining after the opening 40 seconds, and it's going to start to get a little awkward now. Crad is watching for the boost, but there's flashes to draw him away. As the early smokes go in towards this B site, and they're looking for the pick now as they've drawn the crosshairs away. They've popped a couple of players up. Alex ready and waiting, just waiting desperately for a head to show itself. Nothing so far, so they'll reset. And Elian will start to think about a peek down through connector. He's got Nickelback to back him up. It's an intriguing setup from the CT side, but Mir's push has been rewarded. He's all the way through spawn. They know what's coming, but it's a missed shot from Elian, and he's punished. Forrester with another to go down, and it's falling apart at the seams here for the CT side. It's the flank of Mir to try and rescue it, and he's got to. He's got bomb down with 35 seconds on the clock. He knows where Deaths was. But the relocation from the Spaniard may well be his savior. 25 seconds, tries to drop that smoke. Wants to bait the idea that he's recovered that bomb, but Mir is not falling for it. He's wise to all the tricks. And as Death starts to sneak his way, they'll play Ring a Roses. Out short goes Mir, out monster goes Deaths. That will be the bomb with 10 seconds left. Mir knows there's only one place Deaths can be, and the timing on this peak is going to be good for him. The spray down will connect. It's the heroes round from the new boy. 3 kills in it for Mir, an AWP to save across, and 2 opportunities for Entropiq to take their map pick.
Yeah, what a flank. It was only fair, a little bit of revenge for the multiple flanks that Movistar hit them with back on their CT side as well, but yeah, ridiculous clutch from Mir, you've got to say. I didn't love the way the 1v1 was played. That smoke made it, if anything, a lot more complicated. I think it may have been more safer if he just straight up took the fight, to be honest. Although, considering the shots being landed by Mir, that was pretty risky as well. We'll have to see, though. 2 rounds in a row in order to get it to an overtime. Definitely doable. First of which, definitely going to be the harder of the 2. Crad up close on Monster, already spraying down a couple for himself. He's hugging the 3rd player as well. Actually, somehow gets away without even really taking any damage and uses the USB to take out Deaths. How is this collapsing as hard as it is for Movistar Riders? It's only Alex left standing, and that didn't even